Very interesting Roy Hodgson quiz, everybody.
I've got them down in 19.
Michael Jackson released Thriller. Can we all agree that Sheffield Wednesday might go down?
I won a quiz on this blooming podcast. It's the first time ever.
It's not disrespect to Roy Hodgson. It's not to say it's going to be a passive approach, but it'll definitely be different.
I have got Wrexham in 9th.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sportsman Untitled with me, Connor McGilligan. Simon Lillibury is on his travels yet again. I'm joined by Ian Herbert, our Rovers residential, and of course, Benjamin Bloom, who's had a very interesting week as an Ipswich Town fan. Haven't you, Ben?
I don't know what you're talking about. Move on.
Today, everybody, we've got a few bits that we're going to be getting into. Obviously, we don't have the fixtures to be reviewing and previewing today, but we'll be getting into a few bits toward the very end of the podcast. But we're going to be starting off with the big news, chaps. Gerhard Struber leaving Bristol City. Some really big news there, Ben, isn't it?
Yeah. So we normally have October, November international break as the big graveyard. But this does happen, doesn't it? Where there's a kind of sense of a club, right, we're kind of fizzling out. We're not going up. We're not going out. I think they're completely equidistant as well from relegation and plus things like 12 points either way. And we do see clubs go early sometimes and try and get the house in order ready for next season. Little bit of a sense that this had been bubbling with the January transfer window and certain comments that Struber had made. So I'll kind of throw it back to you. How much is this a little bit chaotic in terms of ownership, ambitions versus the manager just not doing a good job? And I have to say, mitigating factors aside, it has been a really poor run of results since, well, probably the January transfer window. Go figure.
Yeah, I always think with Struber, I think there's an excellent coach in there, a really, really good coach in there. Obviously, his counter-pressing style, the intensity, the transitional sort of play. But you lose, Ian, and you know you'll know this, mate. But you lose two huge assets in Metmety and Viner in a January window, and you don't really replace them. Can you lay the blame at Struber's door? It's always the manager that's going to get it, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's always easier, isn't it, to change a manager than it is to refashion a squad or whatever. Yes, I can relate to your best players being bundled out of the door, funnily enough. Although for us, it was in the summer rather than in January. So, yeah, I don't know what the objective is of a club that gets rid of a manager with so few games to go to appoint someone like Roy Hodgson, who is clearly a caretaker, clearly hasn't. He's not going to be at the forefront of the Championship, is he? He's not going to have his Rolodex flicking through and know all the players. Yeah, I just can't see that. It feels like it's a gesture to try and win over the supporters.
It's a statesman. We'll talk about Michael O'Neill at Blackburn. Yeah. It's a figurehead at the top of a club who's just massively, massively respected. But to circle back to Struber, do you guys think that if you see it out, I don't know what the length of his contract would have been, but I assume it's 2-3 years with options and breaks and whatnot. If you see that out for 2-3 years, do you get a upward trajectory? Because I like you. I always like a manager who sticks to their principles and is very clear about them in all interviews. You have to win, obviously, but you make the point as well. What's the objective here at Bristol City? Because it's not just this window. You can reel off Bobby Reid, Adam Webster, Lloyd Kelly. I'm sure Bristol City fans are now filling the comments with another 50 players. And I get it's tough when you're trapped in that purgatory and there's parachute teams coming down. And now worse still, Wrexham and Birmingham coming up as well with massive swathes of money. But I don't know, do you think the trend would have been upwards if they'd stuck with him?
I think so, yeah. I think there's something in longevity. I think as well with Struber losing Metmety, let's be honest, was having the best ever season. It felt like anyway how he started.
Really good for Ipswich.
Yeah, he was red hot, and taking that out and maybe replacing him with the likes of Bergzorg with the greatest respect. It's not.
I think they quite like Horvath, but that's going to be a slow burner, isn't it?
It will be a slow burner, yeah. And I just wonder if potentially, and there's murmurings that he was maybe speaking out a little bit behind the scenes and We know
use the word agitating.
Yeah, and we know Struber can be like that. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's a bit of discontent.
Are you saying he was out of Barnsley quite quickly?
Yeah, exactly. So I think long term, let us know, Bristol City fans and obviously general EFL fans in the comment section below, what you think about this. But yeah, it felt like it was maybe one that Lansdowne and co had to stick with at Bristol City, and then maybe they'd have got the end goal right.
I just wonder, the timing is interesting. Coincidence, correlation, causation. Season tickets, have they recently gone on sale at Bristol City?
Here we go.
And this is about saying to the fans, yeah, we recognise that that's not good enough. Please renew your season ticket. Please buy one for next season.
What sort of manager, and the way Con sort of just framed it, do they want somebody a little bit less bullshit than someone who's worked for the Red Bull Group and, worked around the world, who's probably not going to stand for... I don't want to say the words yes man, because that's always the way, but where do they go for the next manager?
Championship clubs never seem to struggle appointing managers, because we have...
you're one league away from Narnia to the Premier League.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
It's a real shop window, and I think I can speak whereof I know with Rovers, where we've had a number of managers that have come through on the carousel, and you expect them to go on to bigger and better things, and they don't always do that. I think there is an increasing move in football to have that director of football model, to have the big decisions made in the boardroom, and the coach is expected just to carry that policy out. Maybe that hadn't filtered through to Struber when he went for the job and had the interviews. Maybe he thought he was going to have more power and more autonomy. There's a number of reasons why he might have changed.
But if he's been in Red Bull, he should be able to work with sporting directors, shouldn't he?
Yeah, well, it's top down, isn't it? I mean, what are your thoughts, Ben? With obviously being the EFL aficionado you are, would you have stuck with Struber a little bit longer?
I think so. I mean, if you play the broad strokes answers to that, I totally agree with you and with longevity. And he's always a manager that I once rode a lift with him in Reading, straight down to the front, and I was worn out by the bottom of it.
Did he say going down when you got on the lift?
That's very naughty, but very funny. Well done. And we'll get on to Rovers later, Ian. Yeah. No, but you just the energy of the guy. You can see the kind of leadership, the charisma. Yeah. That kind of alpha male type fella. Yeah, I think I probably would have, but I mean, and I know there's compassionate reasons with Liam Manning now, and we've seen what's happened at Huddersfield, but this is and again, with the absolute caveat of what happened prior, out of everybody's control, but it's just been an absolute disaster. Manning to Norwich, and would everyone have just been happy if Liam Manning had just stayed put and continued building on what he did? But we're ifs, buts, maybes, whats, and here we are, and another new manager in at Bristol City next season.
And we'll touch on that manager as well, but we are going to get into a couple of quizzes, everybody, which I know you're all going to thoroughly enjoy. But Ian, I'll just come to you initially, and I can't help just giggling at this appointment. I mean, maybe just as a person who loves styles and the tactical element of football, just the shift from Gerhard Struber to Roy Hodgson is quite drastic, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, Hodgson... If ever the phrase "yesterday's man" could be applied to somebody, it's got to be him. When we lost Valerian Isbeth, there was lots of comments on our forums about we should go for Big Sam, we should go for Neil Warnock. These guys are nearly 80, but I think, certainly Big Sam is younger than Roy Hodgson. I think Warnock and Hodgson might be the same age. I mean, it's the short-termiest of short-term decisions, and one senses that if he'd not managed Bristol City in the past, perhaps his name would never have cropped up. I don't know. It just, to me, it's absolutely bizarre.
But to Con's point, surely he's not going to coach the Roy Hodgson style to a team that's just been pressing all season for 7 games.
No, exactly.
Surely he's just in there to do the press conferences, take the team.
It's got to be more about man motivation, I think, than totally revamping.
It's going to be a shift, though, isn't there? There's going to be a shift. Obviously, if you've got someone who is so intense as Gerhard Struber is, presumably every training session, then Roy comes in. It's not disrespect to Roy Hodgson. It's not to say it's going to be a passive approach, but it'll definitely be different.
Oh, well, you literally look at, go and Google any press conference of Struber and any one of Hodgson. Struber will be talking about getting on the front foot and pressing. Hodgson will be talking about they won't be getting in behind us today. So, we shall see. But and we'll get on to Michael O'Neill. I think it will be something similar to that, where there's coaches already there and, this wily, wizened statesman who everybody respects comes in and just carries it.
Right, so now we're going to get into a very interesting Roy Hodgson quiz, everybody. So you're going to get them in the comment section below. Probably better than us, although I might be preempting something there. We're going to take turns, or these two individuals either side of me are going to take turns in naming different Roy Hodgson clubs. And there is a heck of a lot. The first one to get one wrong in terms of management, it can be club or country, fellas, are out of the race. So we will start with our guest.
Ian looks confident.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one. Well,
Producer Liam, can you just check he's not on Wikipedia there on his laptop?
I'm going to do this with my laptop as well because I don't want any cheating.
Okay.
Okay, so we will start off with you, Ian.
Well, I'll have to start with Blackburn Rovers, obviously.
Correct. Ben?
West Brom.
Correct.
Switzerland.
Correct.
Palace.
Correct.
England.
Yes.
Liverpool.
Yes, this is much better than I expected, chaps.
Inter.
Yes, Inter Milan.
Malmo.
Yep.
All right, here's where I'm going to dig deep and may come a cropper. Did he manage Halmstad's?
His first ever managerial job, 1976 to 1980, Halmstad's.
Bristol City.
Yes. Are we allowing that?
No, the first time around, yeah? We're having that, yeah?
1982, yep.
Now I'm struggling. Fulham.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. You two are doing exceptionally well.
Watford for a cup of tea after Ranieri.
Watford 2022.
And he was not popular there.
2022, Watford.
There's got to be another Scandinavian one in there.
Another couple.
Let's pull one out of the fire. Gothenburg.
I think that's another England manager.
Not Gothenburg.
I won a quiz on this blooming podcast. It's the first time ever.
Could you get a final one?
I don't need to. But no.
Okay, there we go.
What were the missing ones?
So the missing ones. So we have Halmstad's.
Yeah, you got that one.
Yeah, sorry, not the missing ones. I'll read the whole list. Orebro, Malmo, Neuchâtel, Grasshopper, Club Zurich, Inter Milan, FC Copenhagen, Viking FC, and then the English ones are vast. Blackburn, Fulham, Liverpool, West Brom, Crystal Palace, Watford, Palace again, Bristol City.
Got all the English ones.
Got all the English ones, yeah. I knew there was another Scandinavian one. It's Copenhagen.
Can you name the Italian one?
He said Inter.
There's another one.
Udinese?
Yes, brilliant. Well done.
Wow.
And the national teams he's managed, we had Switzerland in there, of course, United Arab Emirates.
He did.
From 2002 to 2004. Finland for a year.
I'm now back in Bristol City to get in the playoffs. Listen to this guy's CV. Come on.
06.
I can counter that based on
okay, here we go.
06
Kevin Davies.
2007, and his longest international managerial career, England, for 4 years, from 2012 to 2016. Wow. So we're going to move into another quiz.
Fair play, hell of a career.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I want you also to tell me if these things were out when he first left Bristol City manager position in 1982. So I'm going to list things off, and you tell me if it was before or afterwards, okay? So, was this before 1982? The Space Shuttle Columbia launched on the mission STS-1 on April 12th.
Columbia.
It's before 1982 or after?
85 was the one that blew up on the launch pad. I'm going to say before.
Correct. Benjamin Bloom. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's after.
Before.
Really?
1981. I'll throw out a couple of others.
I was watching Harrison Ford on Shrinking, which is excellent the other day. Wow.
Okay. The first Apple Mac released. Was that before or after 1982?
After.
Correct.
Agreed.
Michael Jackson released Thriller in November of this year.
Round about the same time, isn't it? After.
Correct.
83, would that be?
83, yes. and we'll give you one more as well. Around seven, it's such a unique one. Around 7,500 runners took part in the very first marathon through the London streets. Was that before or after?
I'll go before.
Correct. 100% run.
And Roy Hodgson won it, yeah?
So I guess we should move on anyway when it comes to the conversation about Blackburn Rovers.
If we must.
It's the only reason you're here, Ian. So, yeah, I mean, the revival under O'Neill has been. I mean, I watched, I think it was one of his first games against Preston. It was a very, very dull affair, but a Hashi winner, header in the 91st, 92nd minute was absolutely critical. And it feels like he's had a lot of moments so far as Blackburn Rovers boss. I mean, how are you feeling about it at this moment in time?
I think of all the potential appointments when his name was mentioned, it was the standout one in terms of going back to that point about having credibility, having kudos, being able to do the PR and all of that sort of good stuff. We expected him to treat us as a sort of blueprint for Northern Ireland, difficult to beat, get us organised, and for the large part, he's done exactly that. I think anybody who had the pleasure of watching us defend for 95 minutes against Middlesbrough recently will sort of see that's what we're all about. We're not going to score a lot of goals. We've not got a lot of creativity. We've not barely got any creativity. So I think it is about organisation. So in the way that we've just talked about Roy Hodgson, what could he do when he came in? Give the players a very clear structure and a clear set of instructions, make us difficult to beat, and hope that if you keep a clean sheet, you're going to get at least a point. And if you can nick one, as we did against Preston, then it makes a massive difference. Whether that will be enough over the remaining 7 games, because we've got some really tough fixtures, I'm not entirely sure. But if we don't stay up, it's not O'Neill's fault.
Well, I guess when you're looking at the last 2, winning down at the Den, 2-1, unbelievable victory. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And then you obviously had the 0-0 up against Borough. You know, the last 2 games, 4 points. It's pretty good return, isn't it?
I think it's the manner of them as well. I think when you're down there and you get a sniff of something, i.e. a red card that later gets rescinded while you're 1-0 down at a team who's challenging for automatic.
We'll take it.
You've got to take it and you've got to go and do something. So that's good news. And you and I have chatted about Jorgensen as well. So there's some goals there. And again, you're coming up against the Middlesbrough team racked with anxiety about creating this much XG and scoring this many goals. So that's very encouraging. My contention I'd throw back to Ian, Con, is how viable is it to be relying on a dodgy red card that gets rescinded and your opponents to be missing all the chances? And so I'm going to try and I'm doing it as an exercise, Ian. I'm going to try and mitigate all his results. New manager bounce, first one at QPR, and then a derby against Preston. Well, can you explain away all the results? Is that viable? Is the question I would ask. Hopefully, you're going to say yes.
Sadly, not. No, I don't. I think in the long run, you will regress to the mean, and the average will play out. As I say, I think his strategy seems very simple and very straightforward. First of all, be very, very difficult to beat.
Like Stoke were.
Yeah, so that's and they were in a similar predicament when he took them over, though I don't think he's got as many games with Rovers. I think the goalless draw against Middlesbrough is the performance I took most encouragement from, because I would say probably 90% of Rovers fans thought, forget anything today, this will be a real bonus, and that's exactly how it turned out. It's the games against the teams around us that we've struggled. If there was a mini league table of the bottom 6 or bottom 7, I think Rovers would be pretty much at the bottom of it. We've had some crazy wins where we've beaten teams higher up the table, but in those head-to-head encounters with the other teams that are in relegation trouble, we've really struggled, and we've got West Brom on Easter Monday.
Well, so if I'm to bat that back to you, though, you've mentioned West Brom on Easter Monday, which we will get into as well when we're looking at the fixtures, everybody, so stick around for that. Birmingham, next game, obviously away from home. Stoke, who I guess you could classify as, Stoke at the minute.
On the beach for Bristol City?
One would hope so.
Yeah, but then I guess you look at a few in there. Birmingham, Coventry, Sheffield United away.
Those are the tricky ones.
And Southampton. But you've shown in your last 2 that if you're organised, could they be the more preferential games?
It wouldn't be totally unheard of for Rovers to lose to West Brom and then do something daft like go to Southampton and win. But the problem then is you've given one of your relegation rivals 3 points. And it's kind of like, no, you're getting this all wrong, guys. Don't lose to Oxford and then go and win at Millwall. Beat Oxford.
Yeah.
That is the up and down of our form, the lack of any consistency that just makes any sort of prediction of how Rovers season's going to turn out.
Can I go with one more worry? If you're describing a team that is without strikers, I think Johnson's done for the season, isn't he?
Yeah.
That could potentially be hard to beat. I don't think it's a season where you can draw your way to survival. If the total is going to be 48, 49 points, you need...
We'd have to draw every single game.
Exactly. And that doesn't work, does it? So is that a fair point? If you haven't got goals, in terms of drawing your way to survival is not going to happen, that makes me... I know we're coming on... I'm trying my best not to spoil Connor's next segment, but what is your take on that?
I think that's a fair observation. We are not. I think it's highly unlikely that we're going to beat anybody by 2 or 3 clear goals between now and the end of the season. Set piece. It's going to be like Northern Ireland against Italy. It's going to be about set pieces. It's about taking those opportunities when they arise,
and hopefully not a 2-0 loss.
Just hoping that something crops up. But that's going to be the mindset. First of all, be difficult to beat. Use your set pieces, optimise those chances to the best of your ability, and just hope that we have the rub of the green. I don't know if you guys remember, but early in the season, Valerian Ismail had his list of bad refereeing decisions. Maybe the Millwall sending off then cancels one of those, and maybe there'll be another one that we can sort of, will they net out over a season?
Quickly on player availability, are there faces coming back after Easter for the last few games?
Well, Scott. You could argue Scott Wharton coming in gives us a chance. There's just been the rejigging of the squad where we've been able to take out 2 players who were injured throughout the rest of the season. So they brought in George Pratt and our new signing Nathan Redmond, which was to say that was out of left field.
I can't believe he's 32.
He's only 32.
32, Nathan Redmond. Yeah.
He couldn't get in Sheffield
Wednesday. There's a Roy Hodgson gag
team
in there somewhere, but I can't quite get my head around it.
Yeah. So
it felt like Ian, didn't it? With Tronstad been out for the season.
Tronstad is a massive loss. I think Good Johnson is a significant loss.
Even Miller, who takes the long throws, is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been particularly unfortunate this season with long-term injuries. It's not just a case of somebody being out for a fortnight. It's been 6 to 8 weeks minimum. And then as we got closer to the end of the season, well, that's them done for the season. Tronstad is the big one. That's because we're now relying on Adam Forshaw, bless his cotton socks, to give us 90 minutes. And if ever there was
you're talking to a Leeds fan.
Very well aware.
Well, if ever there was a signpost of how Rovers' fortunes have declined over the last 12 months, when we signed him 12 months ago, we had Plymouth fans coming onto our forum sort of saying, are you guys mad? Is your recruitment team looking at what we've seen? And everybody was disgusted and appalled. Now he's the linchpin of the midfield. And people are worried that he might not be able to last 90 minutes for the remaining 7 games. That's how far our stock has fallen in the last 12 months.
If Rovers do stay up, what really needs to change for them to compete next season?
Everything.
Really?
Yes, I could do a 2-hour special. I'm sure your viewers would rather I didn't do that.
I didn't want to go too Venky's heavy.
No, but that's where all the problems start and end, because they set the tone for how the club is going to be run and how much money they're prepared to spend on it. The analogy I use is if you bought a stately home, you wouldn't expect to run a stately home without having to spend some money on it and without having to invest on it. So if you buy a Championship football club and expect it to wash its face and not need any, you're in the wrong business. You've completely got that wrong. And this season, the recruitment has been solely based on reducing the wage bill.
Can I ask a polite question? What is your, when people say the same question about Ipswich, about what is the level, and then there's an argument about Ipswich that it's a top 25 club that had 2 England managers and 2 just outlier golden periods. And you can see where I'm going with this, with the 90s. What is Blackburn's level, do you think, in the hierarchy?
Yeah, we're probably, I'd say definitely top 30 clubs in the country. If you think we came close to the playoffs under Mowbray, we came close to the playoffs under John Dale Thomason, we came close to the playoffs under Eustace, and in each of those 3 instances, the investment that you needed in January just to kick it on didn't happen. And Rovers fans are puzzled as to why you would get so close, take it to the line, but then just not try and give us that extra impetus right at the end. So the sales in the summer have completely changed our expectations. Completely changed. The vast majority of fans before the season started sort of said, do well to stay up this season. And that's exactly how it's proven. So what they've done with the recruitment in the summer is lowered those expectations and made us sort of think, if we can just hang on in the Championship, that'll be a good season. But we were 7th last year. We were in the playoffs for 20 minutes on the final day. What on earth has possessed them to sell the whole team? Well, the answer to that is saving money.
It's such a gut punch when that happens, isn't it? We see it far too many times in the EFL Championship, don't we?
Well, and there's just too much churn year on year to stand still. And we already mentioned when you have a Wrexham and a Birmingham coming from that direction and 3 parachute teams.
You get squeezed in the middle.
And I think the thing that I've found maddening about Rovers, and I appreciate you don't want to go down the Venky's rabbit hole, but is seeing good recruitment come in and sort of Lenihan and Diaz and Rothwell, they all end up leaving for free as well, don't they? It's just, and Mowbray as well, like literally coming on an interview saying, I don't know what my contract.
I mean, what you think about Tony Mowbray and his performance, let's leave that to one side.
I'm an Ipswich fan. I love Tony Mowbray.
He's a human being who deserves to be treated with a modicum of respect, period. And if that was to say, with 2 months ago, like Tony, we won't be renewing your contract, but just to leave it in abeyance and him pack up his desk one day and disappear and that's it. That's just appalling. And that speaks to the culture of Rovers at the moment where it's just not good enough, frankly.
So before we get on to section 2, which is where we do go through our own tables, get your tables in the description below, everybody. The final table, it's getting all very exciting right now and very nervy for people like Ian. Just finally, mate, touch on Michael O'Neill. Where are you? Obviously, we knew when he came in there was going to be a certain style and sort of an adaptation to Blackburn. But where do you see it long term with him? Because obviously there is this conundrum of him being the Northern Ireland head coach as well. Can he really take on 2 roles simultaneously?
No, I mean he was quite vocal after the Italy game, wasn't he? He sort of like gave a statement to the press which said, hey, just remember, I'm under contract to these guys till 2028. And I think that was a shot across the bows of Rovers. He will have seen enough now to know the sort of basket case club we are. And unless he is given assurances that the whole mentality and the whole mindset will change, I don't think we've done anything that will persuade him to stay. Well, I think it's very much
Ian,
a firefighting role.
I saw if I imagine that negotiation as him having every ounce of leverage,
all the cards,
whatsoever, because if they stay up, I'm sure he's getting a nice bonus that's been written in, and he looks like a genius. If they go down, it's not his fault, and he doesn't want to expect managing League One. So it does feel that in getting rid of Big Val on transfer deadline day, I think we were up here, weren't we? It's like, oh really? Today?
Yes,
you're going to do that, but.
Bless them. I mean, we are a completely dysfunctional club from top to bottom. It's just insane. I think O'Neill, it's a throwback a bit to the Tony Mowbray sort of things. It's a bit more of here is a respectable individual with a cracking CV. He's done this sort of work before at Stoke. Maybe he can do it again with Rovers, and that's what we're hanging our hats on. But he's still got the same players to work with the addition of Nathan Redmond. So let's not underplay his contribution.
Right, okay, we'll move on to section 2. And as I mentioned before, this is about us predicting the final 7 fixtures and coming up with our conclusion. Who stays up, who gets into the playoffs, and who goes up to the Premier League, obviously, as a part batch. Where should we start, Ben? Should we go relegation upwards? What should we do?
I think I might have some bad news for Ian. So I think we should start with Ian and relegation, or maybe yourself.
Okay.
I think you know where I'm going with this, buddy, and I'm so sorry.
Right. Can we all agree that Sheffield Wednesday might go down?
Yes.
Yeah. How many points do we have Sheffield Wednesday finish on?
I gave them one more win. I think I think they'll randomly win a game. Maybe I think did they have West Brom last day? Yeah. And West Brom will, spoiler alert, may well be safe by then, and you might have. So I gave them one more win out of sheer pity.
Ian? I've got them on -5. I can't remember what they're on today. So I've got
them on -6. Okay, so 23rd, Ian. Let's start off with you.
Oxford United.
Oh.
I also have Oxford United. Yeah, which I didn't.
You guys not on the Matt Bloomfield train?
I am. I just feel the cream will rise toward the back end of the season with the quality that is down there.
You're going to be shocked by mine, because I've got to give a public apology to John Massinio and John Harley. I've got Pompey 23rd. By the way, can I just caveat this and say we've done this based on typing the results in, which really skews on the form right now and trying to adjust. But I know that would have Pompey essentially going on a terrible run for about 12 games because they're already on a bad run for 5 games. But I don't like their fixtures. I don't think the game in hand helps. And, well, we'll come on to Oxford.
Yes. And then, so you've got 23rd Pompey. Ian, 22nd for you?
Right. So I'm not going to upset the football gods. I am not going to sit here and sort of say, yeah, we're safe, it's all done. I'm going to do a bit of double think here. So I'm going to say in 22nd place will be Blackburn Rovers.
Oh. I too have Blackburn in 22nd, Con.
I have absolutely no idea how I've come to this conclusion because I've said it separately that this won't happen, but I do have West Brom in 22nd.
Right.
And I have, just as an added layer of final day madness, I have Leicester City in 21st, staying up on goal difference.
Probably beating Blackburn, yeah?
Yeah, beating
wow.
Blackburn. But I've got Blackburn safe.
To me, the crux is that West Brom game. I have us beating Leicester on the final day because I think when it really, really comes
they'll
to
be
it,
safe by then.
I think we'll have to give it all guns. But
you say the crux is that game. We're doing it later. Oxford, Pompey as well. My God.
Yeah, I mean, I always think at the end of EC you've got a much clearer path about the way through. So doing this now is interesting because it could change so fundamentally, of course, if somebody picks up 6 points that we didn't expect.
So have you said your 22nd?
I've got Blackburn 22nd and Oxford surviving in 21st.
Right, okay.
But again, we're so heavily influenced by the current form of Oxford, which is massively good. And if you're talking to me about trends, I've got West Brom and Oxford trending really nicely at the moment.
And you also look at this relegation fight as well. There is, I mean, we're looking at an absolutely iconic last sort of 6 or 7 games, aren't we? So
potentially with the head-to-heads,
head-to-heads,
and
everywhere.
Potentially high totals as well. I mean, it's difficult because I've obviously got a collapse from Pompey into mine, which then reduces the total. But I've got Oxford safe on 47, which is actually lower than I've been saying all season.
Did you get, just as a bit of just an added layer, did you have Oxford beating or getting anything against Millwall on the last day?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you not? Yeah, me neither. Okay, let's move up the table anyway. We'll get into the playoffs, chaps. Do you want to go? Should we go from 6th to 3rd?
Wrexham in 6th, Southampton in 5th, Millwall in 4th, and Middlesbrough.
Oh, go on, Ian! Yes, I know what that means.
Wow, okay.
Ipswich have deducted 28 points for some unspecified
ruining
events.
Blackburn's pitch, for making it rain on Blackburn's pitch.
So no, I've got them down in 19.
Do you want to go 2nd?
Yeah, I'll go a bit further because I have got Wrexham in 9th. I've got a problem with Wrexham facing Middlesbrough, Coventry, and Southampton in the last games. I think.
How many are at home though?
I think they go away for a couple. I know they face Borough at home on the final day. So I know we've said all season this is the point Wrexham run out of steam and hit their ceiling, and we've been wrong. So hopefully for the Wrexham fans, we'll be wrong again. I've got Norwich rallying to 8th. I've got a problem for Derby that I think they face Coventry and Southampton and someone else. So I've got Derby missing out. I've got Hull hanging on in there in 6th. Southampton in. I think Hull's fixtures have got enough to get the couple more wins.
But the inconsistency of Hull. You just never know, do you?
Against Hull, mate. So I've got Southampton 5th.
Yeah.
Millwall 4th. In 3rd place, Ipswich Town.
Oh, I had to go against the grain.
You're doing what I do.
No, I'm not. Ian, I am not. So
never anger the football gods.
No, look, Connor already cheekily mentioned it, but there's an intangible thing that's happened at Ipswich, obviously, that may have an effect on the energy around the club, if you believe in that stuff. And I just don't like 5 away games out of 7. And you saw one of them when Ipswich have been on
2 of them.
Yeah, but when Ipswich have been on a bad run logistically, they've put in some tired, stinky performances. And I think draws might be a problem for Ipswich. And in the 2 head-to-heads, I've got Middlesbrough beating Millwall but losing to Ipswich. But I've looked at Middlesbrough's other fixtures, and I think there's possibly enough in there that I've got Borough losing more games than Ipswich over the season and finishing above them. Because I think Ipswich might draw their way to third place.
I've got it on goal difference between it.
Goal difference?
Yeah.
Can they not rack up a cricket score against QPR on the last day, Ipswich?
It might come down to that.
Yeah, interesting. You've got goal difference. Well, I've got goal difference involved as well. So I'll do what you did, just to elongate. 9th, Norwich.
Saying I'm long-winded.
Not all. 8th, Derby. Strong end to the season, but I think they will miss out. Hull 7th.
Wow.
Missing out.
Hull fans, type now. Get him.
Yeah, get me. Missing out on 6th on goal difference. Another goal difference in the playoffs. So that's goal difference on the relegation places, goal difference playoffs. No, I didn't. 6th, Wrexham. Then I've got Southampton 5th, Borough 4th. Borough 4th. Missing out by 2 points on 2nd. Ipswich 3rd.
You got
Millwall 2nd.
That is
and
sensational.
Coventry. Top at Coventry end the season.
So have we miraculously got Middlesbrough, Millwall, Ipswich in 2nd? This has not been.
There's zero consensus, is there? So we will anger and delight.
Come on, just before we talk top 2. So my playoffs, I've got Ipswich versus Hull, which I quite like, because Ipswich has done a double against Hull. I've got Millwall versus Southampton. Who are your 2 playoffs?
So mine will be Ipswich, Wrexham,
and then thanks.
And then Borough Southampton.
Oh,
that would be a tasty double.
You say that, it's still tournament football. It will still be 1 goal over the 180 plus minutes.
I prefer my playoffs to yours. How about that?
I prefer his playoffs to both of them. Who's your playoffs in?
So Middlesbrough, Wrexham.
Nice.
And Millwall, Southampton.
I'd favour Millwall in that.
So top 2 then. So I think Borough, as I said, will lose the head-to-head against Ipswich, but I'm just looking at the other fixtures. I think they can get... So if someone wins 4 games out of the last 7, they're probably going up, aren't they?
Well, interestingly enough, I've actually got Middlesbrough beating Millwall.
Yeah, so have I.
In the fixture coming up, but I've still got Millwall in the top 2.
Have we just spoiled the prediction segment?
Not at all. But yeah, Millwall, I just think are super consistent there. I just think they're getting into flow state at this moment in time. I loved the game against you guys. I thought the second half, they were very impressive. I think we'll get in there.
The problem I've got about Millwall is that the 2 games they come back, they play Middlesbrough and Norwich. My theorising has Millwall just dropping behind there and not being able to catch back up.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, let's move on.
We're not even going to mention Coventry. How many points did you give them?
Should we
95 I had.
I had 94.
99.
99?
Wow.
So they're on a streak.
I think they'll just blitz everyone.
Wow.
It feels like they're just in that mode at the minute.
Yeah. They're on autopilot.
They're going to be very irritated by that Ipswich game of hand between 45 and 46. It's going to delay when they actually get promoted, isn't it? Just on the maths.
Yeah, it should be. Enjoy it, Coventry fans. Enjoy this end to the season. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine.
Oh, because the Leeds fans did when they were coasting in.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we
no
did.
anxiety there, was there? Yeah.
Coventry fans could be a calmer bunch. So obviously we've got a couple of match previews, chaps, that we were going to look at for Easter Friday and obviously on the Monday. So next week as well, we are going to be returning, obviously, because we've got the double header. So there will be no Easter Monday show, but we'll be returning Tuesday. Gab Sutton and maybe even Simon Lillibury if he comes back. No, probably not. Probably not. So let's have a look at the Easter fixtures anyway, chaps. So on the Friday, we have the game that we've got to talk about immediately. We've just touched on it a little bit there. Ian, I'll get your thoughts first. Middlesbrough, Millwall, huge match. Does it feel like a bigger match for Middlesbrough this, because they've kind of just veered off track a little bit at this moment in time?
I think so. We touched on it earlier. You mentioned about that gap between XG and actual goals scored. You feel with Middlesbrough at some point the dam is going to burst, and they're going to start getting those goals over 46 games. These things will even themselves out. Maybe that's the one that just gets them back on the right path. My experience of Millwall is only watching the 2 games against Rovers, and obviously the victory that we had down at the Den was coloured by the sending off. If only every other opponent between now and the end of the season could do the decent thing and get out to 10 men, we might stand a chance. They are. I think they're the epitome of a really good, solid Championship side that's making the most of their resources. I still fancy Middlesbrough. I think at home.
Yeah, I think I know I gave it away in the last segment, but I think I do for this one. I feel like a little bit of a bounce back from Borough. Ben, they desperately need it at the moment, don't they?
They really do, and we're going to find out when that little tweet comes out. Are the 2 words Hayden Hackney on that team sheet. And it's so funny. We sit here, we've laid out the whole last 7 games, and literally the first game back, the early kickoff, changes everything.
Yep.
If we go in there and Millwall and Aziz and the big lads at the back turn up and they go and win this game, everyone's on your train with Millwall. But I have got it a bit more similar to Ian. I think they'll calm down over the international break, the opposite of what's happened at Ipswich. And I do think it has to right itself. And you're talking about Blackburn defending in that Middlesbrough game. I mean, the chance for it was Morris, wasn't it? Where you just think they're not always going to slash wide of the post. And there was no Whittaker and there was no Hackney. I do think that's vital. I don't think they get promoted with Hackney missing for 2-3 more games. But I think this is possibly the start of 3 or 4 wins that Borough would need, assuming Ipswich are getting travel sick through April.
Yeah, I don't really know how to look at this. I'm similar. I've got Borough on to win this, but I just think the pressure element, it's a must-win vibe. It really is for me anyway, a must-win vibe. The Hackney thing is going to be so interesting. But I just feel this season, I mean, Ian was just mentioning the solidity and the framework, effectively, and the structure of Millwall at the minute.
Borough need to be leading at half-time.
Yeah, have to be. Yeah. Have to be.
Although Ipswich were, weren't they?
Yeah. But it just feels Millwall have got so much, Negley, Femi Aziz, I really like Ivanovic.
Oh, mate, now that Cooper's back in the back 4 and Kramer, Cooper and Taylor all come up for the set plays, it is heinous. They'll get a goal against anybody with those big lads.
They're a good team though as well, aren't they? They're a very good team.
I've got to say, the coach, Neil, he seems really... Yeah. When you go from that, when you're really in your groove as a knowledgeable, you've got the experience, and then all your decisions seem to be paying off and compounding. That's how I feel about him this season. He's having a great season, Neil.
Are we going to do score predictions?
You go first, Ian.
Yeah.
I've said Middlesbrough will beat Millwall 1-0 in our predictor.
I'm going to agree with Ian, 1-0.
I'll give Millwall a goal then from the Aziz and the set plays. I'll go 2-1 then Borough.
Okay, let's move on to Monday, the 6th of April, and a huge game at the bottom of the table. Portsmouth coming up against Oxford United. Obviously,
I think I know where you two are going with this one, given the table predictions.
100%. Yeah, Oxford in a very decent vein of form at this moment in time. Pompey, a few struggles, Ben.
Yeah, I think, straight away, if you gave the Oxford fans a clean sheet and get out of there and leverage your home form, would they take it? Or is there more a sense of ambition that Pompey are a little bit of a wounded animal at the moment, and that home form has kind of turned, losing games narrowly? And I know John Eustace, well, you know better than me, I know John Eustace is so good at that. Okay, you have the ball, we'll score a goal and you can keep it and take the 3 points. But if you saw that Derby-Pompey game, and Murphy feels keenly missed, and they still haven't managed to click it goal-scoring wise, Pompey. So I think Oxford can get something here. But I sense you two disagree from the table predictions.
Yeah, I've got Portsmouth winning it 2-1.
We're really on the same vein here, aren't we? Yeah, I've got a similar vibe. I think it's needs must.
What's your rationale on Pompey turning this around then? What does that look like?
Pompey's home. I think playing at Fratton Park, the atmosphere there is absolutely fabulous. I went last season, first time I've been in donkey's years, and I couldn't believe how much noise that they created and how difficult and intimidating they made it for the away fans.
Tight as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just felt that Rovers just never could get going. We could never keep possession. The crowd were urging them on all the time. And there will come a point in their season, and this is probably it, where it's now or never. So in the same way that I sort of think, Middlesbrough will turn it around, I think Portsmouth will bounce back there. They'll be looking at that game thinking, God, we've got to go for it here.
Yeah. Ian, score prediction?
2-1.
2-1. I would agree again.
Okay, 0-0.
Yeah.
If you're an Oxford fan, Con, you taking a 0-0 from that?
Yeah.
Do it at home?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then we move on to, we have to do this, obviously, because there's a certain someone here, but it is a huge game. 3 o'clock kickoff on the Monday. Blackburn taking on the Baggies, who are boing at this moment in time. Seems to be a bit of resurgence, obviously, under Morrison. You must be sort of nervous for this one, but a huge opportunity for Blackburn, you'd sense.
Yeah, I think that you've hit the nail on there. We have to treat it as an opportunity to get 3 points. There are not many further opportunities when we look through our fixture list, unless we upset the form, as we did when we beat Millwall. I'm a little concerned as to how O'Neill being away and then coming back, and how much time he'll have to work with the team, because you've got the game on the Friday. He'll be away with Northern Ireland. He won't get back probably until Wednesday morning at the absolute earliest.
I remember the QPR game. It was similar. Then he was away at the draw and he came in and they won.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe what was said in the week leading up to that game, that the team was set up and picked by Damien Johnson.
I do believe that.
And he came in and did the man motivation bit, which that passes the eye test. I would give my granny to get 3 points from this game, but right now I'm predicting a 1-1 draw.
Yeah. Football gods would probably say that this would be a 1-1 draw as well, wouldn't they?
Football gods are not going to want to watch this, because this is going to be filth, isn't it? This is going to be keep the ball away from your goal and do not lose this game.
Nerves.
I like West Brom for it, Ian. I'm sorry. I just feel we've spoken about the trends. I feel it's a good one for West Brom at the moment. And look, Blackburn have got no strikers, and West Brom are going to turn up with DK, Hegabo, and Madger. And I think there's more goals in them. And it's something I quite like about Morrison, about the simplicity. I mean, he's not like O'Neill's this kind of calm, gentle statesman, whereas Morrison's a bit. I compared him to Paul Scholes the way he talks, just very straight down the line, and it seems to be working. So I like West Brom for this one.
Yeah, I was gutted when they changed their manager, I have to say, because I'd sort of got them nailed on.
Oh, poor Eric. Yeah,
it's sort of.
I think as well, something to note as well, Daryl DK coming back into a little bit of form, which is good to see. After
Daryl DK getting through 3-4 games without getting injured again, bless him. But I've got to go an away win on this one, probably like a 0-2 maybe.
0-2. So you've gone 1-1, 0-2. I'll go with 2-1 Rovers. Why not? Ooh, there you go.
It's got the full spread.
It's because you're here. Right, guys. Well, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sportsman Untitled. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I've said, we'll be back on Tuesday with the very special Gab Sutton. Make sure you are checking us out on all platforms. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.